I call the July special meeting of the King County Regional Homelessness Authority's Governing Board to order. Thank you everyone for being here. I know many people are in person. That's always a good thing to do. I'd actually like to see if we can encourage more in-person meetings to really get this work done. So let's begin with the theory of change before we take our roll call. We begin every meeting by grounding ourselves in our theory of change, which reads, if we create a homelessness response system that centers people with lived experience of homelessness, then we will be able to respond to needs and eliminate inequities in order to end homelessness for all. And then I'd like to have our land acknowledgement read as follows. We acknowledge that King County is located on the unceded traditional land of the Coast Salish peoples. We honor this land and its people, past and present, and we are committed to directing funding and resources to organizations led by and in support of Native and Indigenous people. With that, let's read the roll call. So will the clerk please take the roll? I'm going to say that more forcefully. Will the clerk please take the roll?
Member Braddock?
Present.
Member Barone?
Present.
Member Balducci?
Here.
Member Aviva?
Present.
Member Nelson?
Present.
Chair Harrell?
Present.
Member Kettle? Member Bracken?
Present.
Member Burney? Member Prince?
Here.
Member Backus?
She's running late, but she will be here.
Member Hay?
Here.
Chair, we have quorum with 9 members.
Thank you very much. Got a baseball team. So before we begin with the rest of the agenda, I want to make sure before we approve the consent agenda, are there any amendments to the agenda? I'll just ask the baseball team. We're okay? So now proceeding with the rest of the agenda, next is our consent agenda. We have 3 items on the consent agenda: the approval of the June 2025 Governing Board meeting minutes, the approval of the June 2024 Governing Committee minutes, and the approval of the October 2024 Implementation Board minutes. Is there a motion to approve these items?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I second.
Second.
All right. The motion has been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, the consent agenda has passed. Next on our agenda, we'll have our monthly CEO report from Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Kelly Kinnison. Dr. Kinnison, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Chair Harrell. Hello, board members. I'm going to start today with good news. I have several recent investments in the homelessness emergency response system to share with you. First, our District 5 seasonal weather shelter. We have awarded $270,000 to Lake City Partners to do a seasonal shelter and enhanced day center. That will be 24 nightly beds on a daily basis, expandable to 40 to 45 beds during severe weather activations. And that will operate November 15th, 2025 through March 15th, 2026. We also awarded the Low Income Housing Institute just over $79,000 to expand some of their existing severe weather services to more of that seasonal model. We also had a non-congregate shelter request for proposals, and we have awarded the Low Income Housing Institute just under $6 million for 2 new tiny house villages in the city of Seattle. This will provide Seattle and our region 100 new tiny houses with on-site wraparound service, additional case management support for those who are chronically homeless with behavioral health needs, and who have had exposure to the criminal legal system. So I just really want to thank Seattle City Council and our former board member, Kathy Moore, council staff, our Seattle Human Services Department, and the mayor's office for these investments. We also have our 2025 Seattle-King County Joint Severe Weather Request for Proposals that has wrapped, and we have awarded 16 service providers across the region funding to do severe weather, activation, supplies for youth and young adults, single adults, couples, and families experiencing homelessness. City of Seattle and King County put in over $250,000, and we really appreciate that ongoing support for severe weather activations. And then finally, want to just update you on our collective bargaining for KCRHA this year. We do have collective bargaining agreements with Protect 17. Those expire at the end of this calendar year. So both parties are starting to engage and set ground rules for a very collaborative and respectful bargaining process. Our general counsel and I will keep you informed and would love to know how the board would like to be engaged in that process going forward. I think we set up a number of mechanisms, both through this meeting, executive session, and our personnel committee. And so looking forward to your feedback as we move through that process collaboratively. And with that, I'll turn it back to you, Chair Harrell.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions of Dr. Kennison on her report?
Board Member Braddock. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, CEO Kennison. I did want to check in, and I don't know, with the board or if the CEO has a proposal, but I do want to discuss how best we would engage in this labor conversation. I think it's going to be very important for the governing board to be engaged in the part of understanding, where we are as far as the parameters, the fiscal responsibilities to the taxpayer, supporting our collective bargaining partners. And I could certainly put on the table that the personnel committee could come to the governing board and the CEO with a proposal for how best to do that, or certainly as co-chairs, we could do that. I just wasn't sure how best if we would want to move forward in that. So I guess this is really for my colleagues on the board to understand if folks have any specific path they would like to take. I don't want to just sort of leave it out there and not have us have a path when we leave the meeting for how we're going to best put a proposal in front of folks for how we move forward. So
Appreciate the point. Council President or Board Member Nelson, I see your hand up.
Yeah, just a point of clarification, and please remind me, what does the ILA say about the governing board's involvement in setting parameters? Because I seem to remember, now this was a year ago, that
Can you just
there were changes that were made that
You can just
about
get-
the
you can
board,
pass it.
the governing board setting parameters. Can someone please
Mhm.
remind me?
I'm going to ask a staff member that has the ILA out, unless Dr. Kennison wants to take a shot, but
Yeah, I know our general counsel, Edmund Witter, has been paying close attention to the ILA and to this matter. So I'll let Ed remind us what is outlined in the ILA. And I'll also say we really want to work with you collaboratively on it. And so we're open. I think the ILA asked that you approve the agreement, but I think there could be really productive back and forth around parameters and, of course, any budget impacts long before that. So I'll turn it to Ed to correct me. Ed, you're muted still.
are you?
I muted.
We can hear you now.
You were gonna unmute.
Okay, got it. Sorry. Good?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, we're coordinating here about the audio. So Dr. Kennison's correct. So the board would approve any final bargains agreement or CBA. And what the ILA contemplates is that the CEO would lead the negotiation in consultation with the board. So to your point, Member Nelson, the board would set the parameters and ultimately advise and have the final decision about the CBA.
That is perfect understanding of the language that I'm reading in the ILA. So thank you for that. So we look forward to consulting and approving as a board and having the CEO work with us. Any other questions from Dr. Kennison before we move on to public comment? I'm not seeing any hands. My screen is such that I don't have everyone up there. So if I miss your hands, you may have to shout out. I don't want to miss anybody. Okay. We're going to move on to public comment. If you are here with us in person, please sign up to comment with Affion. If you are providing comment via Zoom, please raise your hand and I will call you in the order received. Each commenter will be able to speak for 2 minutes. Commenters will hear a bell when they have 30 seconds left, and virtual commenters will be muted when their time is up. Public comment will be open for 15 minutes or until no others would like to speak, whichever is sooner. We do ask public commenters to please keep your comments related to items within the board's purview. So Affion, will you please open public comment?
Yes, Chair. We're actually not seeing any hands raised virtually, and there's no one here in person. So I'll ask, but we might just be able to close public comment. Does anyone online have public comment? Does anyone online wish to give public comment? Last time, does anyone online wish to give public comment? Seeing nothing, Chair, we can close public comment.
Thank you very much. I was expecting someone to say something, so let me get my notes ready. I had in my notes I could pause and regroup, so just one moment here. Okay, let's move into some agenda items. We'll now hear from the King County's Regional Homelessness Authority's General Counsel about the East King County Interlocal Agreement draft. That was Resolution 2025-07. So General Counsel, will you take it from here?
Okay, so this is what you have before you is the East King County ILA. So our originary ILA contemplates that KCRHA would enter into future ILAs potentially or interlocal agreements with other jurisdictions or subscribing agencies, I think mostly within King County. KCRHA has done one previously with North King County cities to provide supplemental funding. This is one with 2 East King County cities, Redmond and Bellevue, both of whom are offering over the next 2 years $90,000, which would start upon approval by this board and their respective city councils who have not approved it yet. And I'm not sure exactly when. I have asked their staff about that. This would provide $90,000 over the next 2 years for severe weather. As Dr. Kennison indicated at the beginning, we just recently announced $517,000 in awards to various severe weather providers. I think, had requests that were well over $1 million. So this $45,000 that would be for this year would help supplement that for any providers that we were not able to meet. We currently have about 5 East King County severe weather providers. Those include Porchlight, Sophia Way, Friends of Youth, Lake Washington Safe Parking, and Mary's Place Bellevue. So those are potential agencies that would be eligible. The funding for this would be specific for East King County, and that's really defined as not just Redmond and Bellevue, although those are the agents or cities that are providing the funding. It could be used for any severe weather service that's within essentially anywhere east of Lake Washington. It has a very broad sub-region definition within the ILA itself. So it also provides for potential future re-ups in the future if either Bellevue or Redmond would like to add additional funding, and provides for that we could do amendments in the future. The CEO would be permitted to do that if it's funding specific for severe weather that's consistent with this existing ILA. The basic points, but I'm happy to answer any questions about that.
Any questions of our General Counsel on Resolution 2025-07? So just so I understand, it seems like we're receiving these funds and we're very thankful as a region for it. These are funds that are using for the agencies you described or the organizations. There are no municipal facilities in play though. For example, it's just the outside facilities. Is that what I'm understanding?
So I apologize, Mayor. I think I heard only half of it because we didn't get audio. But I believe the
Oh.
gist of your question was, would any municipalities be providing facilities for this? No, the funding would be specific for any providers.
Got it. Okay, any other questions before we entertain a motion and a second? Seeing any? Okay. Is there a motion to approve resolution number 2025-07?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
The motion has been moved and seconded. Afian, will please call the roll?
Yes, Chair. Member Braddock,
Aye.
Member Barone,
Aye.
Member Balducci. Member Balducci,
Aye.
Member Aviva,
Aye.
Member Nelson,
Aye.
Chair Harrell,
Aye.
Member Bracken,
Aye.
Member Prince,
Aye.
Member Backus,
Aye.
and Member Hay.
Aye.
Chair, the motion is passed unanimously.
Right. Good. We like funds. Next, we'll have the KCRHA Director of Policy, Jeff Sims, here to speak with us about a resolution to approve an extension of the Westwood lease. Jeff, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Afion, can you confirm that my screen is visible to the board?
Yes.
Great, thank you. I'm not going to put in the presentation mode so I can still see hands if they should arise. I'm here today to talk to you about a component of the encampment resolution program, which this board has heard about many times as we've done various leases. In this case, I want to just level set for any new members, though. This is, from our understanding, the most effective encampment response program in the country. 91% of the people that we've encountered have moved indoors, and 2.5, 3 years into the program, 76% of the households remain indoors. This was fundamentally a key component is the outreach teams and allowing time for the proper amount of time to build relationships and be able to identify the housing plan for the individuals on by name lists. The other key component of that is leading with housing and offering housing, which is why we're here to talk to you today. As I'm sure many of you were tracking, we do continue to have $16 million from the state for this program that maintains our permanent housing resources that the 550 households and individuals were moved into. We do not have money to continue doing resolutions in King County. So we are only maintaining the housing for those people that moved indoors. And that's why we're here to talk to you today about the lease of an apartment that we refer to as the Westwood. It's currently occupied by 52 residents. You can see the breakdown of units there and some details about what those units are like and where the building is located at. This was initially a 3-year lease, and it required the terms of the initial lease, which I'm just going to click to the next page here. The initial lease actually runs through this coming May. However, we have to give 9 months notice if we're going to do an extension of that lease for an additional 5 years. We actually, however, were able to leverage some of the other properties and existing rental properties in the area and a market analysis to negotiate down the amount of our lease renewal. So I'll get to that. So you can see that on screen actually that it's about $113,000 less just in the first year compared to what just a flat extension would have cost us because we were able to engage in those negotiations. And we thank the owners that are the partners there that were really collaborative throughout this process and getting to that space. So this would be a 5-year extension. The first year beginning next June would be $1.26 million per year. And it would subsequently increase in line with the changes in fair market rent in our county, capped at no more than 4% per year, which is the existing terms of the lease as well. This still continues to be substantially below fair market rents. As HUD calculates it, it still is below comparable rents in the area. The operator wants to continue at this location. The building owner also wants to see us continue. So we are recommending this to the board. And per the terms of the ILA, as you can see on screen now, we require a resolution authorizing KCRHA to enter into that lease extension because it would have a year longer duration, in this case, 5 years. And with that, I'll stop and see if there's any questions that you'll have.
Thanks, Jeff. Are there any questions? Board Member Barone, I see your hand.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Jeff, for the presentation. I think this makes sense. I just want to make sure that, you know, obviously the lease is a 5-year, or the extension of the lease is a 5-year commitment that we're making. And I realize that, you know, the state budget is only a kind of a 2-year, so we can't get a commitment for full term. But I just want to make sure that I understand that, you know, we're bound to continue with this lease, so we'd have to figure out, and I don't know if there's any kind of contingency planning or what would happen if we were to lose the state funding on that front.
We do have, yeah, as obviously, yes, because we can't encumber ourselves with funds not received. We do have options that we can terminate the lease early, things along those lines, if that were an eventuality. At this point, we already know the amount we're getting for this year and in a subsequent year. As I noted at the onset, this is actually part of the operating budget amounts. So we don't anticipate any reduction of these funds going forward, and our partners in the legislature and the governor's office are all very aware that these are housing units that individuals reside in, just as with many other projects that we have throughout the county, and the need to make sure we're continuing that support.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff. Are there any other questions of Mr. Sims? Let me scroll the screen here. I see Board Member Aviva. You have the floor.
Thank you. I'm relatively new to the board, and so I just had a question about the building condition. Is KCRHA involved in the operation costs other than just the lease? And if so, what safeguards do we have in place in case there's ongoing, you know, maintenance or things come up with the building in itself?
Yeah, that's a great question. And some members might already be familiar with that, but that's a very important component. So we have in all of we have 2 approaches to providing housing and being able to offer housing as part of this resolution. Some are private market units that an individual is the holder of that lease, and they're receiving case management services. Because we are not a party to that lease, KCRHA doesn't hold those responsibilities. Instead, we're supporting the lease, providing rental subsidy, and providing also utility, renter's insurance subsidies, things like that. The separate part, which is what we're focused on here today, is master leases, and we have associated with that, not only do we hold the lease then and further sublease it, we have a property management agency that works as very similar to as it would in any circumstance. They hold the liability and the responsibility for the cost of repairs on maintaining the building in its I forget it's clean and neat condition, I think is the term usually utilized. If there are structural components that fail, that of course would defer back to the building owners if there's something along those lines. So we have that property management agency that actually is the primary holder of those. We fund that property management agency through negotiated agreements. And then separately, though in the case of this particular building, the same agency is filling both roles. We also have a service provider that provides all of the housing support services, the connections to behavioral health supports, and all the other kinds of supports that would be consistent with the permanent supportive housing unit, as we have throughout the county.
Thank you,
I have a
Jeff.
follow-up to that.
Please.
And so that's all that 1,260,000, is that correct?
No, the $1.26 million is the cost to rent the entire apartment building. It's 44 units, I think my number was. That is the annual cost for 44 apartments, and in the June 2026 to May 2027 year. And then we have separate contracts. I could follow back up with the cost of those contracts. I don't know them off the top of my head, and I did not bring that information with me. I might be able to get it before the end of the session. I have a chart, I just don't have it open.
Very good. Thank you, Jeff. Are there any other questions before we vote on this matter? Give you a second. Not seeing any hands. Okay, so this lease extension came in the form of a resolution 2025-08, a resolution approval of the Westwood lease extension. Is there a motion to approve resolution 2025-08?
I move approval.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Afion, will you please call the roll?
Yes, Chair. Member Braddock,
Aye.
Member Barone,
Aye.
Member Balducci,
Aye.
Member Aviva,
Aye.
Member Nelson,
Aye.
Chair Harrell,
Aye. Oops. Yeah, I, that's on mute.
Member Bracken,
Aye.
Member Prince,
Aye.
Member Backus,
Aye.
Member Hay.
Aye.
Chair, the resolution passed unanimously.
Excellent. Okay, those are our two voting items. I believe that concludes our agenda. We're going to have to move into executive session. I'll give a script there, but before I do that, I want to make sure that I've recognized everyone in terms of any comments on the legislation. Not seeing any hands. Okay, so we're now going to move into executive session to discuss matters related to RCW 42.30.110 subsections F and I. And as presiding officer, I'm announcing that we are slated to be in executive session for 30 minutes until 2 o'clock. If the executive session is to be extended beyond that time, I will announce the extension and the expected duration. Following the executive session, the meeting will adjourn. Executive session, it almost begins now, although my script says it begins now. But remember to leave this call and join the Teams link that Alfang has put in the chat. So go to the chat, hit the Teams link, and the executive session will begin now. And with that, this general meeting is concluded. Everyone have a great day. Did you hear? Do I need to repeat it? We're good?
I think we're good.
Okay. Read it twice.
Okay, so.
Recording in progress.
Let me grab Lisa. Oh.
Right, for the last one on here. Okay. We are now resuming in our regularly scheduled meeting. And unless there are further questions, I'm going to adjourn the meeting.
Mayor, do you need a motion to adjourn?
Yes, I'd love one.
I move to adjourn.
Chair, sorry, Chair, we don't have quorum yet to take the action to adjourn the meeting.
Well, tell Jorge, he's the one all anxious to adjourn it. I'm ready to keep meeting.
Sorry, we just need one more person.
We lost King County Councilmember Balducci somewhere.
Okay.
I think she's on her way back.
Okay.
She was just asking if she needed to get back in the meeting.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Got her.
We have our quorum now?
Yes.
Okay. So is there a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor to adjourn, please say aye.
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 Hi.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Everyone have a great day. The meeting is adjourned.
Hey, all.
I don't think I.